Hello and welcome to another Odyssey video. Today I'm going to be talking about earth tanking in Nexus and Paradox. I'm not going to go into any great detail about the power set, but I'm just going to talk about where to place your skill points, the different mods you can use in your gear, and the powers that I use on my loadout when I am earth tanking. There's been a lot of debate about earth tanking that it may need a buff because there's not a lot of people that can complete Nexus or Paradox with this power set. But since the day both raids were released, a few people have managed to do this. I'm going to link some videos in the description below so you can get an idea as to how those people achieve that. I believe that this power set is unique compared to fire and ice. It's you have to work for your mitigation. With ice, you use one power, you get a 90% increase in your defense, and with fire, you get a buff in your health. But with earth, you have to work for your mitigation. So a normal power you would throw would give you 25% damage mitigation, but in order to get to 50%, you need to use a system that's called aftershock. There's plenty of videos where you can see examples of this, notably Orbit, who is a very good earth player. He does earth in PvP, he does them in raids. He's well rounded in that power set, so head on over to his channel. Again, the description will be a link will be in the description to his channel, and check out his videos. So without further ado, let's go and look at where I place my skill points. So the skill points are pretty much standard for any tank, but earth can be fire can be fire has a couple of different loadouts that you could use. You could be a self-healing tank, or you could just be a regular tank, but I would say earth and ice are kind of similar. So the four main stats you want to focus on is dominance, defense, health and restoration. I say dominance first because that's what earth's all about. It's about the more dominance you have, the greater your mitigation is going to be. Simple as that. So what I normally do is I normally spec out all these innates first. So you'll be specing out your health, your defense, your dominance and your restoration in these trees here. Fill all them out if you can. This is dependent on your skill points, by the way. So in this case, on the test server where I am right now, I've got 140. After I've spec'd out all these innates, I go down to the bonus innates tree and I go for dominance first, because that's the most important stat for earth tanking. If I've maxed out all the dominance in the bonus innates, then I would go for restoration and then health. That's the process I would follow. It will be the same for ice tanking as well, as you would see in one of my previous videos discussing the mods and the loadout. So if we just move away from the skill points now, and we go and take a look at my gear. So on the test server, I haven't been able to get my hands on any of the expert mods, because let's face it, it's not on that often, so there's no point in really farming them in the raids, to be honest with you. So I've just got here some mod 4s in the tier 5 gear I've got here. So what I would normally do is in the red sockets I would put dominance and precision. Again, dominance being the most important stat and precision being an important stat for one of your powers, which is Jackhammer, because Jackhammer is mainly precision. Jackhammer is precision focused, so the more you use Jackhammer, the more damage you're going to do. But as I said previously, I'm not there to be a damaging tank. I'm there to protect the group and help them get through the raid. So any damage you do, is a bonus. So that's covered the red stats. Sorry, the red sockets. Now I'll go down to the blue sockets. Like ice, I put dominance and health. Increasing health helps your survivability, and dominance with the mitigation. This is pretty straightforward. This is anybody that's going to be reading any guide on the forums is going to come across pretty much this as a standard loadout, standard mod loadout for any of the gear that you're going to be using. And for the yellow sockets, I use dominance and power. You could possibly use restoration and health, but I prefer to go with dominance because of the stat bonus. So that basically covers my mods. There's nothing too complicated about them. You would obviously put expert ones in here to get a huge increase in your stats and so forth. The next mods would be the white ones from the home turf vendor, from the home turf base vendors. So in the weapon, I mean, this is the if you want to take note of this, this is the 177 DPS weapon that you would be using if you got it from Nexus or Paradox. Just take a note of the stats, and then you could work out how much defense and dominance you're going to have when you get full tier 5 and so forth. So in this one, I'm using absorption adapter, which absorbs up to 75% damage. So it's really helpful there when you're attacking, and you get like a shield around you which protects you from the damage. I also use fortified blocking. This mod is a must. If I take an example for an example, the Paradox Warrior in the Paradox Wave, he shoots out a orb at you, and this orb can one shot. Now, on some occasions, I've been able to stand there and block, and I've been able to take them orbs to protect the group from getting hit. So, and this is all down to fortified blocking. Problem is though, this happens only every 60 seconds, and there's not real any tells as to show you when it's procced. So, still, it's a fantastic mod, and it helps you. It helps you when the 3 Lexes are damaging you in the Nexus raid at the end boss. Also, I use breakout protection, which gives you where you gain 700 defense and toughness, but obviously toughness is for PvP. And finally, I use regenerative shielding. So when you use gemstone shield, you will get a huge sorry, not a huge, but a nice heal tick on ya, and this will aid in your survivability, definitely. So that's also very cool. That's basically it for the mods. I mean, if I've missed anything, then put in the comment section below, and hopefully I can answer them. To move on to the stats, this is not accurate because I haven't got the expert mod. So just to give you an overview of what you might have. So 140 skill points. If you've got the expert mods in that I've told you about, you should have about 7,300 health. You should have about 6,300 defense. Restoration about 1,400, dependent on the rings you've got. So on my live account, I have the gold rings with a restoration affinity. So I've got 1,400 restoration. And with dominance, you should be looking at about 1,400 to 1,500 dominance there. So so that's basically the stats you should be aiming for. Obviously, if you get any traces in time, or the weapon, or the neck, or any of the the new rings, your stats are going to be much higher, and it's going to help your mitigation immensely. Your combat rating will be about between 97 98. I still don't know whether it goes up to 100 or not, but it's pretty cool if it does. I mean, I'm guessing 100's the cap until tier 6, I'm guessing, or the next DLC 8, which is probably gonna offer tier 5.75. We just don't know yet. We've seen some pictures of the new DLC content, which looks pretty awesome. So I've covered the mods, I've covered the gear, and now it's time to cover the loadout. Now the loadout is open to interpretation. It's open to whatever way you want to go with. So there's 2 ways you can go with Earth. You can either use the pet or you don't use the pet. I'm going to link a video of Orbit finishing Nexus with a pet. So if you're interested in that, ask him some questions and he should be able to provide some answers to them. I've gone for a mitigation build without the pet. So you're going to be basically keeping on top of your damage mitigation as much as possible. It's hard work, I'm not going to deny it to you. It's very hard work. This is why a lot of people are having trouble in Nexus and Paradox at the moment, because the raid itself is very difficult for Earth and for Fire and Ice even. Luckily they've got the health and defense buff. So let's go and take a look at the loadout. So I've gone with a loadout that I would normally use in Nexus, for example. So I've gone with the first power is Earthen Grip. It's an awesome single target AoE taunt. So I would be using this mostly during the boss fights, the 2 rooms, and the 4th boss fight before you. This is in Nexus, by the way. I'll be using this in the first these 2 rooms with the 2 Lexes in, the 3rd room, and the Sentinels as well, where you gotta get the shield down. So this is that's an awesome power. You grab a mob and they will be stunned, so the DPS can have free range on them while they're not getting damaged. Gemstone Shield, one of your most important powers. This protects you from up to 100% of damage for about, I think it's about 10 seconds or a couple of hits. So that is that's kind of like Reflect, but it's probably not as good, because when you've got this up to full mitigation, if say somebody goes down with Reflect, you could just go over to them and pick them up, and it doesn't matter how many times you get hit, you would generally get that person up. With Gemstone Shield, if you're at full mitigation with it, you can go over to somebody. You can try and pick them up, but at the same time you would be getting damaged. All this does, it prevents the amount of incoming damage. So as you're getting hit, the amount of damage you're taking is halved, but as the animation decreases on Gemstone Shield, you're going to be taking more and more damage. So that's how that works basically. Unstoppable, awesome for resisting control effects. I normally would use this in conjunction with Jackhammer. So this also knocks down any mobs around you. So if you got them grouped up tightly with when you use Epicenter, which I'll be getting to in a bit, you would use Unstoppable, and it would knock all the mobs down, and you would be protected from damage for a little while. And that's all that needs to be said about that, really. Obviously it protects up to 3 teammates as well, which is also very good. So now we move on to Jackhammer. What I said earlier is I normally use Unstoppable in conjunction with Jackhammer. There's a reason for this. Jackhammer, it does two things. You can get up when you use it once, you get 25% of your damage mitigation, but when you use the aftershock system, you do 3 hits into the ground and you get 50%. So this is normally done like this. So when you use it, you just hit you hit left click after you've used the power, and it does this animation. So that then will get you up to 50% mitigation. So if I can get here quickly, so you get the 25% bonus, so you get the 25% standard, and then you get a 25% bonus to take it up to 50%. So that's basically how the aftershock system work. Even with Gem Shield, it's exactly the same, but obviously Gem Shield gives you up to 100% absorption. So if I quickly go back to the loadout again, it gives you 50% mitigation. Not only that, when you're creating, when you're using Jackhammer on the floor, it also generates aggro. So the tremors you're doing on the floor generates the aggro to you, and it will stun the mobs and knock them on the floor. The mobs will become immune to this very quickly, so you can only use this briefly. The drawback with Jackhammer is when you use it once and you're about to just go into the aftershock system, it can be interrupted very easily. That's why you use, before you use Jackhammer, you use Unstoppable, because Unstoppable can gives you resistance to control effects from the mobs, you know, being resistant from being knocked down. So you gotta choose wisely when to use this, even though it's probably one of your main powers for this loadout itself. So yeah, that's it. I mean, you can use some other powers to generate your aggro, but I prefer Jackhammer. Now we're at the last two powers where you can have a variety. I consider these four: Earthen Grip, Gem Shield, Unstoppable, and Jackhammer the four most important powers for this loadout for me. But with the last two, I tend to vary a little bit. So, like on my ice tanking guide, I use Hardlight Shield. Why do I use Hardlight Shield? Because this, although the cooldown is a little bit long, this power is just great for absorbing damage. It uses 100% of your resto and 100% of your dominance, and it will protect you from any big attacks. So this for me is a must-have in this loadout. It's like a second shield, like Gemstone, but the cooldown is very long. I wish in an update of some sort they will decrease that cooldown. And the next power I use is Epicenter. This power is just amazing. It drags every single, if you've got a load of mobs around you and they're at a particular distance, this power will drag them all into you. It will just literally suck them into you, no pun intended, and it will stop them from attacking your group mates and anything like that. This power would use during the hallways, because it's great for aggro, and it will keep everything tight. So if, for example, I would use Epicenter, I would use Unstoppable, and then I would start using Jackhammer, and then I would block. So that is this power, I think, is a must for grouping up mobs. I wouldn't use this during the 2 side rooms in Nexus, because you don't really need it. This is a grouping up power. So Earthen Grip would be more than enough, I believe. Just keep on applying Earthen Grip and keep on blocking, and also keep up your mitigation powers. in the last room with the 3 Lexes, yes, I would use this definitely, because it would drag all the 3 Lexes into you, and they would stay on you the majority of the time. Fantastic power, similar to Backdraft, but obviously you don't need to set the mobs on fire, so that's awesome. Now to the optional powers. Now you could, for the last room, for taking out Epicenter, you could add in Amazoning Deflection. Now, as I said before, you have to work for your mitigation, but if your other powers are on cooldown, you can use Amazoning Deflection. Amazoning Deflection gives you up to 5,000 defense, and if the mobs attack you, or the boss, if the mobs attack you, it will knock them down and stun them. But the bosses are obviously going to have higher control resistance. So the animation looks like this. It's I don't like it that much because it roots you in one position, but potentially it could be fantastic for avoiding damage and keeping yourself alive for a lot longer. It's that's really the only use for it. So I would swap that out for Epicenter, and I would keep the loadout that you see right now. There's also, I'm flight at the moment, but there's also a lot of people that are using a power in the speed tree called Phase Dodge. That's it, I was trying to remember the name then. Phase Dodge, which protects you up to 8 seconds. But you've got to change to super speed for this, or if you are super speed, I would recommend probably using Phase Dodge over Amazoning Deflection. Yeah, Phase Dodge is very popular at the moment because it protects you from damage. It protects you from the biggest hits possible. So that's another option as well. But this video was meant to have been a short one, 10 minutes long, but I think it's gone for about 20 minutes. So I hope this video has helped you out. If I've missed anything or I've got anything wrong, please correct me or post in the comment section below. Thanks for listening, and I hope to do some similar guides in the future. Thank you.